Okay, dear students, let us see what is there in this question. A traveling wave has the frequency of 500 hertz. The closest distance between 2 points on the wave that have a phase difference of pi by 3 is given as this. What is the speed of the wave? Okay, so I will say the question is a bit confusing. So we gotta have to clear a couple of concepts here before we come to this question. So first of all, they are literally talking about waves. So how is wave depicted? This is the graph of a wave, and let us say I'm using sinusoidal variation now, and on the y-axis you have displacement, and on the x-axis you have distance, and the units in meter, centimeter, millimeter, something, but the x-axis is having distance. My dear students, so here comes the first concept that you must consider. Whenever there is this kind of a graph, you have to verify like which quantity is there on x-axis. If it is distance, they are literally talking about wave. Yes, this is a wave, but there is another kind of thing also, and that is given by this. Like let us say this is the graph. Now these are two similar looking graph, but on y-axis there is displacement of the particle, but on x-axis I have time, and it could be second, it could be millisecond or something, but on x-axis we have time. So whenever we have meter, we are considering a wave, and we are considering many particles. So at every position there is a different particle here. At every position there is a different particle here. But when we consider this graph, like on the x-axis there is only time, we are considering only and only one particle, and we are considering the simple harmonic motion of that particle. Like let us say this particle is x. So if we are considering only one particle, the SHM motion will be depicted like this. So first of all, we must know how to differentiate in the graph. So this is how the wave is drawn, and this is how the simple harmonic motion is shown for one particular particle. Anyways, now, so now they are talking about the wave, and they are not confusing this question with simple harmonic motion. So the first level is crossed now. So we are only considering this. Another thing that you must note down here is this, that in this graph, this distance gives you wavelength, but here this distance gives you the total time period of the oscillation. Again, many students just confuse these concepts. That is why I'm giving you. So these are like this. Okay. Now, coming back to our question now. So what is the velocity? So speed of a wave is given by lambda into frequency. Frequency is given to us. We want to find the wavelength. And once we find the wavelength, we put the value here, we will get the velocity. So two things I have told you. Number one, difference of the graph. Number two, wavelength and the time period. Number three, we are going back to our question. Okay, so we want to find the wavelength. So this is the third concept that I am going to tell you now. There is a formula, a very simple formula, and many a times that formula goes out of our conscious mind. We are not able to recall this formula, but this is one of the most effective formulas. What is this? Delta phi. The phase difference is given by 2 pi by lambda into delta x. Now this is the quantity which is present on the x-axis. In the case of simple harmonic motion, if you want to find the phase difference, our formula becomes delta phi is equal to 2 pi by t multiplied by delta t, because delta t is the change in time. Here delta x is the change in position. So we are referring to this graph. So in this question, we would be using delta x. Now, let us see. Phase difference is given to us pi by 3, and this is 2 pi by lambda, and the delta x is 0.05. Let us find this thing. So lambda becomes 6 times this, 0.0556 6 are 30, so 0.30 meter. So this is the wavelength. And by using this formula, now you can find the velocity. So 0.3 is the wavelength, multiply by 500, and there you are, you get 150 meter per second as the answer. So the answer is C. So my dear students, let us verify this answer from the mark scheme also. Yes, the mark scheme says the same thing, that the answer is C. So my dear students, this is Professor Varun. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the YouTube channel with all your friends. All the best.